Okay, another fun and exciting, honestly. Scissors are in the shot. Another fun and exciting jigsaw puzzle again. I had to debate what to do, whether to do Legos or jigsaw puzzles, but I've been guilted into doing this thing. Shouldn't take very long. Um, as we can tell, it's shiny. I know, I have glare. I know. I spent a while, but now I just get to lean into the shot. How much can I block the camera? I thought, hey, you should cut it open beforehand. I'm like, nah, let's keep that in the time. I've committed with this puzzle to get it done in 3.5 hours. It is a 500-piece puzzle. It shouldn't take that long. Because there's so many distinctive dogs in it, it shouldn't actually be that bad. Throw away my mess right away. Get all the outside noise. I don't know how much outside noise you can hear. Oh, look, it even comes with a handy dandy map of where everything is. If I can open it. Impuzzleable, the ultimate puzzle challenge. False edges and corners. Okay. Transparent plastic puzzle. But it's only 100 pieces. Besides being annoying, what is its purpose? Well, see, there you go. There's another ridiculous one. You can have a cat in the litter box reading a newspaper with toilet paper next to it while other cats watch for amusement's sake. Okay. So this is our wondrous puzzle that we're doing. I don't know why I say our. It's not like you're doing it with me. I mean, you're watching, but joy of joys. Because it's a new puzzle, the amount of crap that's going to come out of this bag. It looks so tiny. I don't know why. I was looking at my 1,000-piece puzzle that I did yesterday, and I was like, gosh, it looks so minuscule. It looks so tiny. Oh, even better. We've got different kinds of pieces. I'm excited. By different kind, I mean you have, sometimes you have puzzles that are all just the same size. I can't even find one. They're all this. You know, the two and then the other two. But this one has the multiple different pieces. That means you'll be able to separate it even better than you did before. Prepare to be amazed. Not really, but I don't know. I guess I've done too many big puzzles that you look at the 1,000-piece and you're like, that looks tiny. Like it doesn't take up a lot of space. I would think that the 1,000 pieces would take up more space. I don't know. I've looked at those things for too long is my answer. But okay. Organize the pieces. You'll be fine. So for this one, not only do you have the numerous different size pieces, but you also have, did I mix those? Whatever. I'm already like, wait, what did you do? What did you do? Talk and organize at the same time. You can do it. We believe in you. You not only have the different size, different types of pieces, but you also have the dogs in the picture. So you'll be able to see some of the pieces, which way they go on the board, which will make it easier to, it'll make it faster to do. It'll just make it, so I should actually be able to blow that time out of the water. I say that. It's like the kiss of death. Why do you do this to yourself? Don't say such a thing. You just jinxed yourself. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. But yeah, they got this puzzle for me because they thought it was adorable. I mean, it is amusing. I'll give them that. But the more crap you have in the puzzle, the easier it's going to be to do it, to put it together in a timely manner. What is in your hand? It's the outside pieces. See, talking and doing puzzle at the same time. If you're watching this stream, please like, comment, subscribe. Give me suggestions. Tell me what I did wrong. Heckle me. It's fine. It's fine. As long as it's not horribly bad, it's fine. Another beautiful day. I opened up my patio door so you'll get outside nature sounds. Maybe. No guarantees. It just depends. I don't know how much, honestly, the mic picks up. I gotta keep it real. When I rewatch these things to check stuff, I don't usually have the volume on because I hate my own voice. I sound exactly like one of my sisters, and I find that to be so annoying. You know, my brain thinks that's your sister talking, not me. my brain errors out when I hear it. So I like to not be reminded of that. I mean, it's probably for the best not to know. Not to have to listen to it again. But this should be a fairly easy puzzle. As long as it's not weird when you put it together. If you watched any of my other streams, every once in a while you'll run across a puzzle that's cut weird. That doesn't go together like it's supposed to. This one shouldn't be that bad because most of it has dogs in it. Something, a landmark that you'll be able to know which way it's supposed to go. There should be no confusion about it. I say that. Everything I say, like, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're about to be gravely disappointed in the things you've done. But what could possibly go wrong? I woke up this morning in my own bed. That was super exciting. Super exciting after being gone for a week. Slept in late. I got up at like 9:50 today. The one place I was at had lots of food versus my place. Because I knew I was going to be gone for a while, I made sure there wasn't a lot in the fridge, nothing that was going to go bad, whatever. So there's nothing there. Today's breakfast was quite sad. This is what you got. Your options are slim and none, so have fun. I mean, that, and because it's a holiday, you'd be tempted to go grocery shopping on Monday, but like, oh, it's a holiday. Is it going to be annoying? Is it that? And I don't like to go grocery shopping on Monday, usually, because you want them to restock from the weekend. You want to give them a day to put crap back in the to fill the shelves back up before you go in, because if you go in after the weekend and everything's done stripped apart and they haven't put it all back in again, you're not gonna have as many options. So oodles of fun. Oodles. Oh well, I'll debate on that. Thought about making cookies, and I was like, yeah, you only have 2 eggs. You've used one for breakfast this morning, so if you want to have breakfast tomorrow, you can't make cookies because you want sweets. Pick your poison, kids. Pick your poison. Okay, where did I put this one? Oh, that's not good. No, I feel like I picked those up. I mixed them in somewhere. Well, you'll run across them eventually. Like, I've already messed up somewhere because I separated out this type of piece. And it was in my hand at some point. But because I was talking and separating at the same time, I done forgot and started picking up a different piece and putting it in my hand, and now here we are. Or when I set it down on another pile, and I can't tell which one it is. Oh, it's this one. See? Nailed it. It's the small things. There we go. It's a good start. It shouldn't surely affect it. As I try to speed through the fun part, and by fun part I mean the part I hate the most, organizing things. Like, it's so tedious. What have we accomplished? Nothing. We've accomplished nothing. But because it's a 500-piece puzzle, and I only really have to have 2 sections, I have to have, this is the top, because you can see a little bit of the forest up there. And then all the rest of this would just be thrown together. Could you go through and separate out each dog and whatever? Yeah, sure. But I can't be bothered. Honestly, that it'll usually be distinctive enough. You can probably, when you're looking for the pieces, speed through. I feel like this is gonna come back to bite me, but you can speed through it and find it fairly quickly. You don't need to be the amount of time it would take to organize it versus the amount of time it would take to find it when you're looking for it. I don't think it'll be a huge difference either way, so I don't think it matters. What is that noise? I don't know. I don't know what that is. And I don't care enough to look for it. That's right. The theme stays true. It's not a matter whether you think of something like, man, I wonder what the answer to that is. The question is, do you care enough to look for the answer? No, I don't. I don't care. I got a comment about one of my videos. They're like, oh, you asked this question. Like, you should have Googled it. I'm like, I don't even remember what I was talking about at the time that it was supposed to have Googled. I think it was the instructions for whatever I was doing. I was leaning more towards sometimes like just instead of thinking about doing something and then going and Googling something and going down that rabbit hole and then, you know, it being hours before you start the stream, I'd rather just start the stream and then figure it out on the fly or not at all. Just get it done versus thinking about it. Thinking about something that'll distract you, you know, and not you be not being productive. That's just it's like when I gotta get something done at some point, you know, when you're getting ready to leave, it's like just go. Like whatever you've forgotten, as long as it's not something required, like if you're going to buy something, as long as you're taking money with you, it doesn't, you know, you just need to get it done. Oh, that is somebody on a cart or something, dragging them around on the sidewalk. If you can hear it, I assume. I just. Okay. Almost done with the fun part. I just say that we still haven't gotten to the part where we lay out all the pieces. So, you know, it's going to take some doing. Here we go. Great. Over there yet? No. But because we have all these different size pieces, it should be even faster than predicted. Gosh, I'll stop saying that. We're going to lay them correctly, and that'll make it easier for us. In theory, depending on what this is, because I've had photo mosaic. I feel like I did a photo mosaic on here once. I think so. When you do a photo mosaic, because you have the picture in the picture, you can lay the puzzle pieces down how they'll be on the board, which limits even more the ones you have to check when you're trying to find the piece. Now, obviously, I switched that. At what point? I forget what I did fairly quickly. It all depends on whether or not you laid it correctly on the board when you were organizing the pieces. But it still should whittle down what you have to look at, which in theory should make it faster for you to find the piece and make it so you can put the puzzle together faster. But no guarantees. Like, I feel like some of this, because I was speed organizing it, I'm pretty sure I missed some of the top pieces, but it's not the end of the world. I imagine once I get the top done, I can just put them as I'm organizing the rest of them, because I'll have empty spots. Just like I do with all the puzzles, when you move on to the next section, you'll find pieces you missed in the when you're laying out the next section. You can just toss them in. You're like, hey, I was looking for that piece earlier. Ta-da! 14 minutes, 16 seconds to organize. Do that. The joy of a new puzzle every time. You're like, and wipe it off again, because it's all messy. It's all messy. When I'm doing the outside pieces, for whatever reason, I really don't like it when I have to start a new row. Like right now, I'm separating them out by what they are. So that way I can just go through. But I don't like to have two rows of the same type. It's just, it's just one of those things that you prefer. Like, does it make sense? No. Does anyone else care? Probably not. Probably not. No, they don't care. But I like it. I'm the one that's doing it. I prefer it. You know, unfortunately, usually you can't. Although this is a 500 piece puzzle, you might actually be able to fit them all and not run into each other outside. Oops. It all depends on how much of each kind of puzzle piece they have. Because sometimes you'll run into the ones where the outside has the same one piece is the clear winner. Winner's probably not the best word, but the one piece is the one where you have the most of them, and then the rest of them are all there's not as many. But this one's not too bad. But you'll watch as I'll keep pushing it in together. Like, I will never just leave. I'll put this way. Leave it the way it is. The good news, it's a brand new puzzle that I just unsealed, which means it probably has all the pieces. So it won't be like the puzzle yesterday that was missing 2 pieces. Although it's not a huge... I'm not immensely disappointed by the fact that it's missing pieces. It's not the end of the world for me. Does that go together? Oh, that's a portent of terrible things to come. It does not look like it goes together very well. What could possibly go wrong? Well, this is the bottom. Because it's the feet. Defeat. This one. Let's see how big it is. At least unintentionally, I got it in the correct order. So because I'm going this way, they're set up next to each other, so you don't have to waffle back and forth. It doesn't make sense, even in my ears. You know, sometimes when I try to explain things, have you ever done it where you try to explain something and you get done explaining it and you're like, now I'm confused? Just me? Just me? Oh, that's not right. See, I'm already stuck. Yeah, the pieces don't go together great. That may just be me. I'm hoping it's me and not the puzzle, because that's, you know, it's a portent for things to come. But, boy. Hopefully we'll be able to, yet again, I really don't like outside pieces. Why? I don't know. I just don't. Always remember to plug in your laptop. Just saying. Oh, crap. And I bumped the thing with my head. How bad did I mess it up? I can't tell. I do actually look at it. Before I start, I go in and I look to see where the camera angle is at. And then usually at some point in the stream, I will move the camera anyways. Like, I spent a while trying to figure out optimum, no glare, well, as little glare as possible, and still see the puzzle. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, somebody's probably better at it than me. That's... Really? Am I missing that one too? I'm not missing it. Beep. Nope. Move on to the next one. I do try to make it work, but yet again, at some point, you're like, yeah, this is good enough. Let's not be unrealistic. That's not where that goes. This was right there. This is the top and the forest. The forest. see how big this puzzle is. At least it should be easier. Oh, for hell's sakes. Nope. It's this one. Easier to fit it all on the screen versus the last one. It's a little bit weird. Although I watched it back earlier, and I really do like, for me anyways, what I like is just zooming through it and watching the puzzle pieces disappear. Not disappear, but when I laid them out, just watch it go smaller and smaller. Why are you stuck again? I can't. What have we done? Yay. Like, this is the most tedious part. I don't get it together. It's fine. Maybe instruments. At least I'm doing my least favorite sections first. You know, least favorite is outside and organization. So get those done. I mean, technically, this is sky. Like, what did you do? Am I actually missing pieces? Oh, no, it's this. It's not sky. It's dog. Dog. White, fluffy dog. There we go. There's a Shiba Inu. Oh gosh, Shiba Inu. There we go. That's right. Sound it out. Sound it out. Will I get it done in the time allotted? Well, you know, hopefully yes. Hopefully yes. Maybe no. I mean, did all the prep. Like, how much prep did you do? Well, you know, I got the puzzle. Made sure I had everything I need. Set up the camera. That's basically it. It's the perk. Oh, look. It is tiny. Because that's this side. Yeet. And I just whacked the puzzle pieces. Oh, no. Oh, no. How dare you ruin the organization. I just... We can't go this way and put it together. Listen to kids screaming in the background. Well, if it warms up, maybe they'll go to the pool that opened this weekend. I mean, maybe. Do I have the pass to go into the pool? No. Also, it's cold. It's too darn cold. That water is going to be frigid. Maybe if it was a super hot day, you could hop in and it'd be fine. But we have not gotten to the point. The only time it was hot enough to maybe warm the pool up a little bit, that was a while ago. And I don't know if the pool actually had water in it at the time, so I'm gonna have to give that a pass until such time. See, as you there, as it's warm enough. I'm persnickety that way. Interesting. What is it? Oh, okay. I was like, what is it? Do I know the name of that dog? No, I do not. I mean, it's a dog. That's my answer. What breed? No idea. No idea. It's one of those with the long face. Super tall and lanky. It's not a Great Dane, though. That's one of the others. Well, you know what? Maybe it is a Great Dane. Oh, no, it is a Great Dane. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Never mind, I do know the dog. I'm not an expert, so I don't know all the breeds, but well done, well done. So it's this one. Now it is unwise to put it together like this. I'll probably pop it apart once I'm done. Just because it'll be in the way, and I will probably just, man, the OCD in me wants to just go top down. Just do it row by row and nail it, knock it out. We'll see if we do it that way. Just for fun. Funsies. What is wrong with this thing? Fine. Be that way. Choose a different one. Some of the pieces are being a little bit wishy-washy on where they need to go, but as always, the more pieces you put in, the faster it'll be. The easier it'll be to sassafras and breakneck. Put in the rest of them. I say that and I get stuck again. I'm pretty sure I got all the outside pieces in it because let's not think about them. I don't know. I guess I could have put something in together incorrectly. I mean, no, I would never make such a mistake. I don't know what you're talking about. All the time and forever. All the time and forever. There we go. Yep. Like that. Nailed it. It's the small things. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to break this off and go this way. Hello to my viewers as we watch doing this awesome, awesome puzzle. Do I have these pieces organized? No, because it's the top, but I didn't organize those. For this one, because we don't have a lot of pieces, I'm probably not going to. I say probably not. I am not going to organize it by the way they sit on the board because it's so few. I don't care. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference, and I don't want to take up that much board space for something that. Am I off the board? Why, yes. Yes, I am. I am off the board. I noticed eventually, sort of, kind of. What? It's fine. It's fine. See if we can't knock this out on the first. We'll see. How many pieces will I be missing out of the top when I organize it? This is not the top. That is clearly an animal. I don't. How well did I organize it? Well, you know. This is what happens when you're like, speed. I don't want to do this part. I'm not doing a great job. Okay? I'm not doing a great job. That does not clearly look like all the pieces needed for the top. I'm calling it now. That does not look correct, but that's fine. That's fine. This one. But it's always interesting to watch, how much space the puzzle pieces take up when they're not in the puzzle versus when they go into it. Like it compresses so much. Like I understand why, but for whatever reason, you're like, it takes up so much space, so little in the end. Oh, I'm already stuck. Sassafras. There we go. But we are moving from side to side. I tried Restream yesterday to do it because I was playing with some features. I really do like just the basic bare bones YouTube Studio. I don't. There, I'm stuck. I prefer it in some ways over the other way. Like obviously Restream had features. I didn't really need to use them for the stream I did yesterday, but I like YouTube better. My stream isn't fabulous enough for me to actually want to spend money to actually get a streaming studio of some sort. Let's not go crazy. Like it doesn't need all those extra features. Would I eventually get it? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Restream is the only one. If ever you want to stream to more than one platform, for free if you're starting out. Restream will let you have a free account where you can do one other platform at the same time. But it gets a little bit weird. Like, obviously, if I do it directly from YouTube, I can make thumbnail which is literally just a picture of whatever I'm doing at the time. Although I do generally after the fact, I'll go in and change it to a picture of a little bit farther in. Instead of being the beginning box, it'll be sassafras. I can break that. I still feel like it's that one. Yeah, it's that one. A little bit more stuff done on it. Show a little bit more progress. I feel like it's a little bit more pleasing that way. To me. Oh. As always, who we're doing it for? Myself. I'm doing it for myself. I'm the one that has to look at it. I'll do the best. Trial and error, as we knock out all these pieces. How did you miss that one? That is a clearly top piece. So far we've missed one. Ouch. I just need the table. The good news is that the light is attached to the table, so it can't possibly move. I mean, technically it can, but it can't possibly move. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's not like the one stream where I literally whacked it with my head, and then I had to spend I don't know how long putting it back, playing with it. I have great skills. That's not the right piece, Moon. Great skills. I'm always immensely proud of myself and the wondrous things that I do. Okay. This one. Very googly. Yeah, the forest doesn't really take up a lot of the puzzle, so I guess the one perk about this puzzle, because it's so tiny, because I only have 2 sections, I will only have to organize it twice, and then I will sassafras. When I lay out my next pieces, that'll be it. Like, we won't be doing this again. Could you have done it, organized it better? Absolutely. Did I want to? Absolutely not. To each his own, as always. No matter how much I annoy the bejesus out of myself the way I do things, you organize it the way you do it. If you're doing this puzzle, you do it wherever you desire to do it. You're the one that has to put it together. So never do it the way. I mean, someday I might do it the way other people do it, like from the puzzle contest streams or whatever, where they do, I don't know if they consider to be professional puzzlers. I mean, I assume there probably is people that are. I am definitely not. I never will be. That's not something. That's just not going to happen. Let's keep it real. It's just not going to happen. I do it the way I do it. Yeah, that's it. And that's that. Like, they just will look at the puzzle box, I assume, and then just lay the pieces where they're supposed to go. I guess you can do it that way. I just don't think I would enjoy it. I would be so annoyed. I should have predicted how many pieces I was going to be missing. Because I didn't. I talked about it. Did I do it? No. But let's see here. I'm missing 2. Because I didn't do... clearly I didn't. Aw. Where's that one go? Does it go here? But I'm quite happy with... I assume that's right. As I lean over it to try to figure it out. You can bring it towards me. I think that's... I don't know if that's right or not. We will find out later. Fine. So now we get the joy of laying them out. I do it when I put them out. I have a specific way I like to do it, and I don't know why, but I put it in backwards. Obviously, I like to put this piece first, first, and then go the other way. And I put them on when I was organizing them, I put them backwards, knowing I was going to have to flip it later. Like, why would you do this to yourself? I don't know. I just did. That's not right. Now, the drawback of doing it this way, obviously, you know, just because you can see the dog, since all of the pictures are of dogs taking a poop on the grass, you don't know what position they're in exactly. So this could not be correct. But see, this is what I say about I'm laying it how it's supposed to be on the board. That way I can just, instead of looking for all the, I think it goes that way. I'm not entirely certain. Through all of them right away. Like you'll only have to look through the other ones if you need to. Oh, this is the top somewhere. It goes up there. I don't know where, but it goes up there. It eliminates how many you have to go through. That's. I don't remember where I stopped, but I got distracted by the piece I thought I could put on the board. I lost my train of thought. Well, that's going to be a theme of the day. I'm just. It's that way. That way. But that is. I feel like this is up there too. One section done. That and the key for this, the thing that I always, because you have all those different you know, each piece has 4 different ways it can go on the board. When you get to the ones that are weird shaped, it can take up a lot of space. Like going up this high for this piece because I don't want to have to, the OCD in me will constantly want to squish it together. And I don't want to, if I spread it out to 3, I'll have to constantly keep moving it over. It'll drive me bonkers. But with these, they're going to take up a great deal of space. Let's say that. I feel like I'm going to put this one here. This is going to be our dumping ground. For any piece that I can't figure out where it's going to go in that one. Because I don't want to... Where's that one? Since it's the closest to the middle, if it gets squished, it's going to go that way. That way. So that way I can just keep squishing it together. Although I'd be curious, I'd be super tempted to just only have 1 row of each. Is that too much to ask? And then just have 2 rows of that one? This is a terrible idea. I'm going to call it now. So when I get annoyed at myself later, you can think back, she literally said, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. And you did it anyways. You did it anyways. But yeah, because of the dogs, you just don't know what position the dog is in. It makes it hard to distinguish unless it has, like if I see their feet, that's always a good one. I could tell that's correct. But if I don't see their feet, I don't know. Well, look, that one has writing. It's a service dog. That's exciting. Which way the dog is on the thing. But yeah, this is the most tedious part. We're just going to be, I say that, and I was like, we're already past the tedious part. Keep reminding myself. What I mean by that, this is going to take a little bit. This is going to take a little bit. See, I'm already going too high. Don't do that. Usually, as I drop something on the floor, you know what? Yet again, every time, why do you put it in your hand if you're just taking it off the board? You know what? And then just organizing it. Because I do. I like it to be in my hand. I can't say why. I don't know why. That's just my personal preference. And no matter how much it drives me nuts, because it does drive me nuts, because I bitch about it every single time I do a puzzle. I still do it every single time. I guess at least I could say I'm consistent at it. It's a dog. It goes this way. See? I feel like I should here. I'm going to pop it over. already. Look, don't do it that way. This is a terrible idea. You're gonna run out of space. Is that my direct quote? No, it's close enough. Close enough. I just don't know. But yeah, you can't really entirely tell with some of these. But it should still eliminate a little bit of mystery on how they go in the thing. It should make it slightly faster. As I stare at the dogs. I'm hoping that it'll eventually outside. It's so cold. I need the sun come out. I need it to heat up like 5-10 degrees, and then I will be happy. I know I'm asking for too much. Oh, look, it's the top piece. That's how that's done. I'd be thrilled. Oh, there's the service dog thing. That means that goes in that way. No, so I didn't put it together, even though I know they go together. I can find that later. I'm not worried about that. Right now, it's going too high towards the top, but it will eventually even itself out. Yet again, we want it to be high too far out this way at the start so that I don't have to keep moving it, shifting it closer. Like I will eventually. I'll be bitching about that later. Look for that. Look forward to that. I guarantee it. I will be bitching about how I have to keep moving it over because I can't stand it. Yeah. At least I'm consistent to the point where I know what's coming and I still do it anyways. Like, where does it sit in there? Oh, that's right. Here. No? It's not that one. It goes up here somewhere. We're just going to sit it right there. There's one of those. And there's this section. Oh, making a mess. This would be the fun middle. Oh, look, it's a top piece again. You know what? I'm just going to set that there for now. For anybody that's curious, yes, in these, in the pictures, you can actually see the shit coming out of the bottom of the dog in the pictures. So, yay. I wonder if I should do it. This is going to be because we're declaring this the middle. All roads lead to the middle. That's top. Because that's what you want to stare at. This way. This tail. Man, I'm going to sneeze again. How long will it take to get this thing done? It's this one. Let's just. I guess we're just going to go this way. I'm going to live dangerously. Like, this is a terrible idea. Don't do that. No, the one perk of having it that way, that has to go here then. No. Where's the dog that's up high? There? Nailed it. Don't pick those up until you just. Try not to drive yourself batty, yeah? No? Maybe? Try harder. Oh, this dog should be right there. I found it amusing. The one I decided, oh, hey, that's going to be the one that has two of them. I have two so far in organizing all the pieces. You're like, well, that was a great choice made by all to make that the one that has the most. Sure. What could possibly go wrong? Look, I got another one. Ha! It doesn't help that you just made two of that one. Skills, kids, skills. But we're getting there. We just need to organize these pieces, lay them out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not taking forever. Stop putting them all in your hand because you just threw it on the floor. You know. Don't pick up those pieces. Honestly, just don't do it. Don't do it. Resist. That and resist picking up the one on the floor because you're just going to drop another one 5 seconds later. We all know how this ends. I don't know if I really need to. Why am I doing that? Just start a new one this way. Foolish girl. We're gonna make it. Once we get done with this one, that means we only have what in the front is mom. 2 more sections left, and then we can actually start putting it together. And we'll just row by row go down the line. Should I be doing it that way? Absolutely not. But it calls to me. Like, it seems like a great idea. It's a terrible idea, but it seems like a great idea. No. It's when you do something knowing it's a terrible idea and you're still going to do it anyways. You know, accept the consequences of your action. Yeep. Well, that's running into the puzzle. Which is terrible. But it will eventually, as I keep assuring myself, it'll eventually go down. It'll eventually start running in, you know, the more puzzle pieces you put in, the lower it's going to go. It's only going to be running into itself for a little bit, and then we'll have fixed the problem as I just lay the pieces on the thing. You can't see it in the picture. Look, here's one of my troublemakers. Ah! How did you miss that obviously top piece? You know what? With great skills, that's how I missed it. Great skills. See, had I been truly dedicated, you can't see it, and I'm not even going to try to show it because it's not going to show up on the picture anyways. There's a grassy part. The grass changes color. Here, you can see it in the... Up here, it's light green, and then down here, it's dark green. So you could separate the light green and the dark green pieces, and that would probably make you go faster. Probably. It would make you go faster, but we're not doing that because I didn't do it. So, too late. I don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference. I mean, it would be helpful, obviously, but not Watch as I just shove it in there. Does it fit? No. That's grass, not forest. What is the way we're going to set that in there? Doing that one. It's fine. It's fine. Whoa. Before I started this stream, I was watching the latest in the Ricada extravaganza. So when I started watching YouTube, because I didn't watch it until a couple years ago. I mean, you went on there, but I didn't watch any live streams or anything like that. But I got sucked into the hot mess that was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And I got into watching LawTube. And one of the popular LawTube lawyers was Nick Ricada, whatever. I watched him and Emily D. Baker, and then, through him and Emily D. Baker, I watched some of the other ones too. Ended up settling on my favorite for the longest time was Legal Vices, who died right before Christmas last year. But he was my favorite LawTuber. That's where I ended up. But, so Nicholas Ricada, his whole, anybody who watches YouTube, everybody has their shtick, their lane. Usually you have your niche audience, they're your specific topic to talk about. He usually, besides doing the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and then he became famous with Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So that was his lane. So he was all conservative YouTuber, family values, get married, have kids, only ever had sex with his wife, traditional life, trad father, whatever. That was his spiel. So besides doing the trial streams, usually his streams started at like 11 or 12 Central Standard Time. I think it's probably 11 Central Standard Time because I'm not in Central Standard Time. So super late at night. So I didn't usually watch his streams at night, except for when he had on a streamer I like to watch. Like, if the streamer, I never watched his content for him. I watched his content for other people that he had, the guests he had on. Because he would generally have a decent amount of guests on. But eventually, as it goes through, you just don't watch somebody as much as you used to. I ignored it. He had some sort of drama going on last year where through the other LawTubers that I watched, they would mention him. Like, you knew something was going on, but you didn't know what it was. So eventually, one of the other live streams I was watching, they're like, hey, they were talking about how they were going to do an intervention because something was going on. I'm like, well, that's weird. And then, like, 2 days later, he had the infamous Coke stream where he left his stream running. Usually if you leave your stream to like go to the bathroom, get water or whatever, if you're going to be gone for a little bit, you'd put up a bumper of some sort, say, I'll be right back. He has his own song that he would place up there and it would play while he was away. Well, he didn't put up a bumper or anything. He left the stream running for like 10-15 minutes, came back with a white powder on his nose, and then he became increasingly erratic to the point where me, with my no skills on drug detection, looked at it and I'm like, well, clearly he's impaired with something. I mean, the white powder gives you a clue. So the internet being the internet, the crazier shit you do on there, the more viral you will go. So everybody was talking about it. Oh my gosh, what to do? And then a day or two later, the cops showed up with a warrant for his place, and they found 26 grams of coke in his house. His 5 kids got taken away. Luckily for him, he had family. His in-laws lived close, so the in-laws took the kids. Him, his wife, and the lady that they called their nanny went to jail for a day. He bailed himself out. so that he could continue to drink and do whatever, um, while his wife had to do, had to have all the conditions on it. As far as I know, that neither here nor there, not important. So he was all, it's all a government conspiracy, but they're like, hey, you're supposed to be this traditional father. You've been pushing this trad life, and here you are. That woman that got arrested with you, she wasn't the nanny, she was your mistress, your third wheel. So here he is, pushing the traditional life, and he's got a side hoe in the house living with them. Here, at some point before that, I found out later, he had brought another couple into the relationship, because that always ends well. As everyone knows, if your relationship is going through a rough patch, just bring somebody else in. What could possibly go wrong? And by that, I mean, you just, if you bring another person into your relationship is over. Don't do it. Just leave. Like, either get counseling, figure it out. Don't bring another person in the relationship. If you think, hey, if I bring this person in, it's going to solve your problems, it is not going to solve your problems. It is a catastrophe. This is a terrible idea. So this YouTuber this whole time has been talking about he's the trad father who's worked through law school to get a law degree while, having 5 kids, all this jazz, to find out, I don't know at what point, but his grandparents are oil barons. Like, they got money while he was in his early 20s. So this whole, I worked hard, to get through law school, all that jazz, not true. Like, at that point, when he decided to go to law school after he had been working for a little bit, his family already had the money. So how they were able to afford to do that stuff while having all those kids at home is because, his family had money. Which is not the worst lie ever, but that was the beginning of you've been pushing this one ideology for your viewers and you don't actually follow it. Like, it's crap. We all know YouTubers lie, humans lie. The fake facade that you put on social media isn't your real life. That's all bullshit. But he was all, it's a government conspiracy, I didn't do anything wrong, it's not nearly as bad. The kids were nowhere near the drugs. It was all safe. We didn't neglect our children, because the reason the cops showed up is a mandatory reporter, also known as his pastor, because, part of that pushing that life was going to church, living that life. His pastor was a mandatory reporter. So when shit hit the fan, I've been looking for the wrong piece. People, including, according to court documents that came out later, because you preach that life on the internet, people are going to find all your shit. Including his sister-in-law, came to the preacher and said, hey, we feel concerned. The kids are coming to Sunday school saying that they're hungry, that they're not being fed regularly, that they're wearing the same clothes for 3 to 4 days at a time. They're being neglected. You have, as always, because you brought another person into the house, that other person, by the time the cops showed up, had already exited stage left. Like, I'm out. Like, I don't want. He divorced his wife, who he'd brought into this nonsense, and moved on. Like, he was out. So he started talking, because of course he did, because he also had his own channel that he streamed on, talking about all the things they did, about feeding the kids, because they, didn't have any food and they were hungry. And apparently they couldn't take care of themselves. Because, as always, this traditional dad who was making ends meet, paying the bills, raising 5 kids, living the American dream, he had a nanny for years who up and quit like 6 months before shit hit the fan. So I would assume that she quit because, things were going sideways and she didn't want to be a part of it. She was not going to be, she didn't want to be in that place. She could obviously see the writing on the wall and like, I need to be out of this place before shit hits the fan. I do not want to be here for this. Which now at this point, he's blaming her, saying that she did things she wasn't supposed to. Still deflecting. a year later saying it's other people's fault. I didn't, at this point he is slightly saying he did some things wrong. But his platform, because he was a law tuber, had a legal degree, what he would do is he would get court documents, read them, and then judge other people for their life choices. Well, at the time, I could swear, no guarantees on this, but I'm pretty sure he was always like, I expect other people to do this to me. If, the shoe was on the other foot, if I had some sort of legal troubles, I expect them to also read my documents. Well, he wasn't super keen on all the other law tubers, not all of them, but many of them went through and got the court documents, because a lot of them are publicly available. You just got to request them, get them. What you do in law tubes, you get them, you read through it, and then you explain it to a layperson. What does this mean? And then go through realistically what would his realistic expectations of what his punishment will be if he's done. So it's a great way to figure out, okay, what does this realistically mean? How does the justice system truly work? Because for a layperson, if you've never been involved in the system, you don't really understand what that will entail. But they all got it, and they went through and, explained what this means. And a lot of them were like, hey, this is a cookie cutter. Unfortunately, the world that we live in, drugs, I don't know why I keep looking for the wrong piece. Drugs in the home, people getting arrested for that. Unfortunately, very commonplace. It's not really that exciting of a case for a lot of them. They're like, this is what's going to happen. He should plead out. It's a first-time offense. It's not a huge deal. Whatever. But they were like, hey, he'll be fine. It'll be okay. Unfortunately, because Nick Rekieta is famous enough in his sphere, because there's different parts of the of YouTube, because it's so vast. But because he was so popular, somebody went in and got the CPS documents, which is, I'm going to go out and say it's legal. But the internet be the internet. Somebody went out, got the CPS documents, and then released those. And lo and behold, his 9-year-old tested positive for coke. So I guess in Minnesota, if your kid gets taken by CPS, if there are drugs in the home, I would assume if there's drugs, I don't know for any other condition, but because there were drugs in the home, they, tested all the kids, and the 9-year-old tested positive for coke. He, of course, went on the internet and started talking about it and saying why that was a false positive. He didn't take any steps to legally go through the ropes to get the child tested again. As far as I've heard, he never did anything to try to get it tested again, get the child tested again. He just said it was incorrect. And then the internet, being the internet, you can find information, any viewpoint you believe is correct, you'll be able to find somebody out there who will agree with you and give you information that'll make that true. Whether or not it is true, I don't know. But, whatever viewpoint it is, if there's a flat earth society, there's somebody out there that'll back your play. But he went on and on. He eventually was able to get a plea deal where his wife and mistress, side hoe, whatever you want to call it, had their charges dropped, and then he took the heat, and then he got 5 years probation for his first-time offense after a year of nonsense, which now at this point they're waiting for, since his trial is over, all the YouTubers have filed to get the body cam, because they want to see the house. The house that after the cops came in, took the kids, whatever, one of the conditions of getting the kids back in the home was cleaning out the home and making it look good. And apparently it was a real hot mess. Which, no matter how much he tries to claim, it was the cops that contaminated my child's hair because it was a hair follicle test that came out positive. I just find it highly unlikely when you are high on cocaine or other drugs, because I think he was taking combinations of drugs. So when you're constantly drunk, constantly on coke, or other drugs. I don't know how well you could be taking care of your kids if you're always impaired. Never mind, even before the point where people found out he was on coke, he routinely did live streams where he would be up until 4 or 5 in the morning, and then at 7 he'd be driving his kids to whatever school functions they need to go to, because his kids were homeschooled. Like, who's while you're on the drug, who's homeschooling your kids? Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't, but he doesn't have a problem. Another way to know that he was 100% innocent, he went to his mandatory drug stuff, and he's like, all the other people in the room, they were definitely addicts. I was definitely not an addict. I never had a problem. Like, if ever there was a clue that you definitely had a problem, that's a red flag for me. But he apparently went on a live stream last night or the night before and did stupid shit. So that's what I was watching before I started this nonsense. Watching him crash out. Like, man, if you want to get past this, you need to stop going on the internet and saying stupid shit. I'm just saying. The internet has a short attention span. If you keep your nose clean for a hot second, you should be fine. There'll be some other crazy story that'll eclipse you, because he's back on YouTube trying to get back all of his followers he lost and the drama. But I just back to the point, because at some point he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on YouTube. He was making bank. He torched it all because he thought he could do no wrong and no one can tell him any different. That's the death knell for everyone. But now they've dug up all of his drama about his mistress and it's not his mistress. I think it's a polygon. I don't know. Where he went to some sort of swinger hotel in Jamaica, because of course there's a swinger hotel. Of course there is. But don't you worry, he went to that swinger wife swap place and he didn't have sex. Does that mean he just watched his wife have sex? Probably. But yeah, the joys of the internet. Everybody loves to watch you fall. It's a wondrous place. So I was being super productive this morning, and now I've gone over and I've done this. I'm here doing this instead. Look, pieces in the wrong spot. As we go over, see if we can't, as we just slowly move down. So we're an hour 7 in. I might actually be able to do this puzzle faster than 3 hours, 30 minutes. I have great faith in my ability. Unless something catastrophic happens, it should be fine. If I could just keep looking for the right piece. So far, I guess apparently talking and looking at, I wonder if I should go this way and not that way. Well, that's the plan. Talking and looking for pieces at the same time. I'm not always registering the right piece. But I guess if I was really gung-ho, I could summarize the Karen Reed trial while trying to do the puzzle at the same time. Another catastrophe. If you haven't seen the Karen Reed trial, because that's the that is the popular trial that is on right now. This is take 2. They did this trial last year. It ended up being a hung jury. And the state was all like, we need to do this again. So you definitely probably heard of it before. I should be able to know the dates. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. So at the end of January in 2022, let's go with that. Karen Reed with her boyfriend, John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe wanted to go out drinking. They obviously have her text messages. So he wanted to go out drinking. His friend took him to the bar. He needed her to take him from the bar to the next one, whatever, and get home. She said yes on the condition that I can get you home and I can be back in my house before the storm hits because there was a nor'easter coming in, a snowstorm for the rest of you people. Nor'easter literally has its own name in the Northeast. Clearly, they get them enough that they have their own name. There was a snowstorm coming in. She knew that if she didn't get back to her place, she would be snowed in there. She did not want to be snowed in his place. He was the guardian for his niece and nephew because his sister and brother-in-law died within like a month of each other when they were little kids. And he was the one that default got stuck with the kids. I mean, volunteered. It sounds like he got stuck with them. He manned up and he took the kids. And, he was the guardian. She didn't want to be stuck in the house with them. That was the deal. According to text messages, that morning they did get into a fight. But by the end of it, she willingly came to go out with him, to drive him around and take him home. So she met him at one bar. They went to another bar. When they were at the second bar, they ran into people he knew and people that she knew at the second bar. They were originally there. It was the McCabe's and the Alberts. From this point on, they'll be known as the McAlberts. I'll switch in between. They ran into them. One of the Alberts was also a Boston police officer, which is what John O'Keefe was. They were there until midnight when the bar closed, and then they were all gung-ho on, let's go back to, I think it's Brian Albert. Honestly, I don't know. Brian Albert's house, because the reason that they were originally at the bar was because Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday was that day. He was supposed to be there, but Brian Albert Jr. wasn't feeling up to the social gathering, so he was at home with a social gathering there instead. So they decided to go back to his house and have some after-hours drinking. So all these people who were clearly drinking got into their own vehicles and drove over to Brian Albert's house. Karen Reed and John O'Keefe had never been to that house before, so they got directions and drove to that place. At some point, John O'Keefe got out of the vehicle. Karen Reed drove home. I'm just sticking to the facts that we do know. Karen Reed drove home. The next, she originally, she wanted to go back to her house. This is from text. We know. She wanted to be back at her house. She did not want to be snowed in his place. So she went back to his place, waiting for him to come home because the niece was in the house. Didn't want to leave the niece by herself in the house. She was mad that he never came home. She's like, hey, you need to come home. She left him a whole bunch of angry messages. Eventually fell asleep. I assume fell asleep. Woke up at like 4 or something in the morning, and he still wasn't home yet, and she freaked out because he took care of his niece and nephew. He would have been there for them. He would not have left them. He would not have not come home. So she freaks out. She is the type of person you would never want to be in if you're in a stressful situation, she's not the person to call. She flipped out. She lost it. But she lost it because eventually there'll be dash cam and you can see her and hear her screaming, freaking out. Like she clearly lost it. But she wakes up the next morning. From eyewitnesses, they're like, yeah, she had automatically thought the worst, that something terrible had happened. Freaked out about it, was calling around, trying to figure out what's going on. Eventually got in the car and started driving around to see if maybe he tried to walk home in the storm and just got, to see if he was along the road, because that's what got stuck in her head. So that's what she thought was happening. Eventually, she ended up at Jen McCabe's house. Jen McCabe, the key witness in the trial. And she was screaming on the front lawn. Jen McCabe's husband, who I do not remember the name of, don't care, testified that she was screaming so loud he was worried she was going to wake up the neighbors. She was screaming that loud on the front lawn, freaking out. Like, you need to go outside and get her to shut up so she doesn't wake up the neighbors. Close enough. That may not be exact quote. Close enough. So she goes out. They're talking about it. Eventually, Carrie Roberts calls on the phone while Jen McCabe was with Karen Reed. They're both together. Carrie Roberts calls Karen Reed, asks where she is, and I'm like, hey, I'll meet you there. Stay there, I'll meet you there. So she comes to Jen McCabe's house. And they're talking, and eventually Jen McCabe is like, hey, you dropped him off at Brian Albert's house. Because Jen McCabe is Brian Albert's sister-in-law. Brian Albert is married to Jen McCabe's sister. So she's like, hey, so Karen Reed's like, we should definitely go there then. If that's where I dropped him off, we need to go to their house to see if he's there. Karen Reed's like, not Karen Reed. Carrie Roberts like, no, we need to go back to John O'Keefe's house and check his house first. Like, at no point does, at that point, as far as the stories go, I'm pretty sure at no point did Jen McCabe offer to call her sister's house and ask if he was there. That was never suggested as a good idea. Do you think you would just do that? Call and see if he was there. Like, just, it's, 5-something in the morning. Sure, do you really want to wake him up that early? No, but just in case, cover the bases. Wouldn't you be worried? Snowstorm's coming in. Like, let's just call him and be done with it. But no. They go back to John O'Keefe's house. He's not there. One would assume if she was screaming and freaking out on the lawn of Jen McCabe, she also would have been freaking out at John O'Keefe's house before she went out driving. But whatever. They get there. In the trial, Karen Reed's conscious of guilt. This is their play. Is when she got there, she didn't take her shoes off when she was going inside because John O'Keefe required everyone to take their shoes off. And how dare she do so when she's freaking out, losing her mind, thinking that he's severely injured or dying. They're like, how dare she not take her shoes off when she goes inside the house? This is the state's case on this. This is their actual thing. That's obviously a consciousness of guilt. Not freaking out, worried somebody's dying. That can't possibly be it. This must be guilt. This must be guilt. So he's obviously not there. They all get in one vehicle together. They all get in Carrie Roberts' vehicle. Leave Karen Reed's at John O'Keefe's house. At some point before they left, the story has changed a few times. But at some point they noticed that Karen Reed's passenger rear taillight is, according to their original description, cracked. When they finally take a picture of it 3 days later, completely destroyed. There was only a small sliver of this SUV's taillight that is still alive at this point. Completely destroyed. It's not a crack. There is no crack in the taillight. There is no taillight. There is no crack. That's all I got to say on that. So at some point they do notice that before they go to Brian Albert's house. So Brian Albert, Boston police officer. They show up at Brian Albert's house. Karen Reed sees John O'Keefe's body on the lawn. Everybody else is like, she had to have known he was there. How else would she have noticed this 6 foot tall, 200 and some pound man laying on the lawn? Yes, it has been snowing, obviously, from the beginning of the story. There was a storm coming in, but when he supposedly hit the ground, at that point, they have video. So you can see that it was a light dusting of snow at that point. It was not, it's the decorative snow. That's what I call it. Decorative snow is where it just starts to stick to the grass, but it hasn't started sticking on the roads yet. It's either not cold enough or just not accumulated enough. It's just not sticking. Enough people are driving on it. Whatever it may be, it's just decorative snow. You can still see the grass. in the video that they have at that time frame. So if you can still see the grass, if he were to fall down on the ground and die there, okay, if he were to fall down and die, he should have melted any snow that was underneath him when he hit the ground. Should have. Did he? No. No, he did not. That's a little bit odd, but sure. So she finds him. She tries to use her body heat to warm him up because obviously at this point in time, there's like 3 inches of snow on the ground. So how that 3 inches of snow would completely hide a body that's big on the lawn, I don't know. But that's the state story. This is what we're doing. Okay, sure. So she lays down on top of his body to try to get him warm again. They do mouth to mouth. Jen McCabe calls 911, says that there's a body on the lawn. I don't think she mentions that it's, at her brother-in-law's place. I don't think she does not mention that it's a cop that's on the lawn. She doesn't mention that. They show up. The old adage, you have to be warm and dead to be declared dead, comes into effect. So they decided to try to work on him to see if they can revive him. He had a traumatic brain injury. God, that's probably best. He either fell and hit his head or got hit in the head. Honestly, we will never know the correct answer to this. As everyone knows, you fall wrong, you hit your head wrong. That's the end. The fall or however he got hit, however he was injured in the head, popped the back of his head open. Like he had a 2-inch gash. And we all know head wounds bleed profusely. I think from the last trial when they had a testimony about it, it was the kind of head injury that the odds that if you fell and hit your head like that and you were right next to the ER, you probably would still die. Because of the injury, because of what happened to his brain when his head hit or he fell, whatever it may be, that was basically once you get hit, you go down and you never come back up. Is how that works. That's the injury he had. The state's case, obviously, they're saying that she hit him with her vehicle and left him there. So the state's case is that she backed up at 25 miles per hour. Yes, that's right. How long does it take to go 25 miles an hour going backwards? They never say. They never calculated that in how long it would take driving backwards in a vehicle to get that speed. They never did the math because I imagine the math on that, the amount of distance you would need to travel to go that fast, going backwards. I don't even know how fast it would take. I mean, it wouldn't take that long going forwards, but it takes longer to gain momentum. So she backed up in a straight line going 25 miles per hour on ground that was maybe a little bit slick because, you are starting to get some snow on the ground. Even though it may not be sticking to the roads, it'll still make them a little slick in spots. Just depends. A whole bunch of factors. Anybody who lives in a place where there's snow, you'll understand. That's fine. So the state's case, she backed up, hit him with her vehicle, and just drove home. That's how the taillight got broken in their story. The problem with this story, never mind the fact she's going 25 miles per hour backwards. That's a little bit weird, but okay. Is that the injuries to his body? I'll take the lawyer's judgment on this better than my own. I don't think I've ever seen injuries to an actual person in real life from being hit by a vehicle, but usually they're quite catastrophic, especially at that speed. Obviously the vehicle is much bigger than a human. It's going to cause a great deal of damage. But the damage that is on his body doesn't make sense for the injuries that were, the damages to a body versus the vehicle that he got hit with. It doesn't make sense. In the first trial, they were trying to say that the vehicle struck his arm because the injuries on his body, let's do it this way. So the injuries on his body, he's got obviously the wound to the back of his head. The problem with the front of both of his eyes are black and blue, like bruised, whatever. It looks like, honestly, it looks like he got punched in the face. But he has some scratches on his, like above one eye and on his nose. He bit his lip. Not his lip. He bit his tongue. Like there's an injury. There's a cut on his tongue. Like, he got punched in the face and he bit down on his tongue. That kind of injury. Not here or there. But besides that, besides the head injury and the black eyes, the only injuries from the neck down, he has a few red marks here, like he punched something. And then he has scratches on his arm. The scratches on his arm look like a dog bit him. But they're claiming that the dog bites are from the taillight. So this cracked taillight, the testimony, the original testimony from the witnesses that they saw this light, it was cracked, is they ended up on the lawn finding 46 pieces of taillight. Of those 46 pieces of taillight in this second trial, 26 of them were for her taillight. 26 were for her taillight. Where did the rest of the taillight pieces go to? No idea. They never checked. It's just extra pieces of taillight. I don't know. But, she backed up at 26 miles per hour, hit him in the arm. Now, keep in mind, if his arm was outstretched and they whacked it, it should shatter your arm. But in their scenario, using no math whatsoever, or science, honestly, this is just the state story of how this happened. It struck him in the arm, threw him 25 feet through the air. He landed in such a way that he did not injure anything else. Like, even if he landed on his head, shouldn't he have broken his neck? Shouldn't there be broken bones of some sort? Like, wherever you impacted, whatever your body hit that vehicle, you should have broken that. Whatever that may be. Wherever that hits, it should be broken. It should be gone. It should be done. But he didn't have any broken bones. Not one. But he was thrown 25 feet through the air to land wherever he was on the lawn. To land where he was on the lawn, 25 feet through the air. No broken bones. There are stains on his back, mainly on one back jean pocket. But those stains, even if they were on one, like if he got thrown through the air, dragged on the ground to get the grass stains, wouldn't you, with the impact that you got, shouldn't you have bruises where you hit the ground and dragged to get the grass stains? Shouldn't there be bruising on that part of the body where it was dragged? Like, wouldn't that make more sense? Like, there aren't any, but wouldn't there be some sort of, damn it, look the wrong piece again. Some sort of injuries there? There aren't any. That the cuts on his arm that suspiciously look like bite marks. Was there a dog in the house? Well, yes, there was. Yes, there was. But don't you worry, he never went in the house, according to the witnesses, who are all related, mostly related. There's a few people that were there that weren't related, but honestly, there was a way for him to get into the house with nobody seeing him. So I don't, just because they didn't see it doesn't mean he didn't get in the house. I mean, technically, he could have died on the lawn, honestly, and them not know. But they're saying he got hit by the vehicle. It was going 25 miles per hour, thrown across the grass, landed, somehow cracked his head open. Where did the blood go? Well, according to the state, the ground was frozen solid. That's what cracked his head open. But where did that head wound blood go? Because most of his blood was gone. No idea. There's no pool of blood on the ground. Because if it's frozen, I imagine it wouldn't, Yet again, they don't have an expert for this. Explain where the blood went. Because if the ground is frozen, I assume water doesn't absorb into it very fast, if at all. I mean, obviously the blood would be warmish. Like maybe it might thaw out the ground a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a science person. Science is not my jam. I don't know. Darn it, wrong one again. But there's no blood there. There's no pool of blood where his blood should be. I don't know where it went. Magically disappeared. Sure. So you're missing the blood. He goes on the ground. She left him there. You know, they've charged her with 1st degree, 2nd degree, and 3rd degree murder. No, the third charge is for leaving the scene of an accident. But they went all these charges, and I'm like, I'm just confused. Like, your key witness is literally the sister-in-law for the person that owns the house where the dead body was found. They never investigated inside the house at all. The lead investigator, who has now been fired for the misconduct that he did on this case, he got fired for the shit he pulled on this case. And yet still, they're like, yeah, we need to charge her for this. Definitely, she definitely did it. But it just, the day of when she got, they were convinced. So originally, oh gosh, this case. Because you need to be warm and dead, not cold and dead. So originally they were like, hey, we called the state. State troopers are the ones that are supposed to handle death investigations in Massachusetts. It happened in Canton, Massachusetts. Oh my gosh. That's right. They called and said, hey, we have this. And they're like, no, he needs to be cold and dead. Now, here's your first red flag. It is a police officer. And they care so little about it. They're like, nah, whatever. Call us back when he's cold, when he's warm and dead. So you have this police officer who I imagine the medical professionals had to have known that the odds, he's pretty much, he's not coming back. He's dying. He's dead. They know this to be the case, but we're still like, nah, call us back later. We're not going to deal with it. Okay, sure. Now, eventually, the actual investigators will say, no, we started digging out our cars early on in the morning, but they never do say when they got called back in to show up. So the story doesn't entirely make sense, but we'll take them at their word. I don't know why you would, but we'll take them at their word that that's true. So because the state's not showing up to investigate the case, the senior police officer at the scene is like, what are we supposed to do? It's snowing right now. Apparently, he never handled a crime scene where there was snow, even though he lives in Massachusetts. Like, you've never done any, like this, I don't know. I'm under a mistaken impression. I assume he just never does any work ever, so this is why. But, he was gung-ho to be on the scene, but he doesn't really do anything. So he's like, what are we supposed to do? It's snowing, it's accumulating. It's going to cover the scene. Do we put a tent up? No, it's the wind is blowing too hard. We couldn't possibly figure out how to weigh down the tent to keep it there to protect the scene. We're not even going to bother to try. They put up some crime scene tape, but the wind was blowing too hard. So we're like, now we're just going to take the crime scene tape down. We can't possibly leave that up. We're going to take it down. They're like, we should get whatever evidence we can before the crime scene gets destroyed by the snow. Okay. At some point, they find some drops of what looks like blood on the snow. They're like, hey, we should accumulate this in some way. Okay, fine. So they didn't know how, according to the investigator that the head of the scene at that time, he didn't know how to gather blood evidence from snow. So he doesn't Google it. He doesn't ask the lead, the chief of detectives or whatever it may be, his boss, the chief, the boss of all the detectives in the Canton police station, lives across the street from this crime scene. Okay, I just. So we don't ask him what's the best way to gather this evidence. You do go over and talk to him. You do. they've decided that they're going to gather the evidence with some sort of receptacle. So they go to this lead detective's house, chief detective, whatever his BS, whatever you call it. They go to his house. They ask him for something to put the blood evidence in, some sort of receptacle. They never really said completely what they told him they needed it for, but they asked him for one, so he gave them red Solo cups. Don't you worry. They were sanitary, whatever, sterilized, because it was an unopened package of red Solo cups, and if it's unopened, that means it's definitely sterile and it can definitely hold blood evidence. You'll be fine. So they put blood snow in these 6 red Solo cups, and then they put it inside of a paper bag. Did they use an evidence bag? No. Apparently they didn't have one of those either. So they decided to just use a Stop and Shop and Save, whatever, like a grocery bag, like literally has the name of the grocery store on the side of it, one of those. Is that sterile? I don't know. I mean, like, where did you get it from? They never said where they got the Shop and Save bag from. I would assume maybe the same place they got the Solo cups. So they put these 6 open, because they're not sealed. Like, they didn't put a plastic bag over them, so they didn't go anywhere, so they didn't slosh out of the side. Like, there's nothing to keep these bags together. They just put them inside of the Shop and Save bag, which I guess something I learned from this video. 6 Solo cups in the bottom of the Shop and Save bag fit perfectly so that they won't tip over. Who knew that was a thing? I mean, I've never had to test this. So they put that in there, and then like, okay, now we need to look at where his body was and see if there's any evidence where his body was laying. Now, had they marked where his body was on the ground in any way, shape, or form? No. But don't you worry. That head investigator had been told where the body had been. Like, he didn't see it in person. He was told by somebody else, and I'm pretty sure that person had also been told by somebody else. So we telephoned that in, a game of telephone to figure out where the body was. So they decided, okay, we need to go. It's been snowing this whole entire time. We need to excavate this area and see what's underneath. So they decide to send one of the other police officers there back to his own house. That police officer went to his own home and got a leaf blower to blow the snow off of the ground where the body probably was, the general vicinity of where the body was. Also, as a point of reference for the pictures that they took with whatever random camera they had, they dug out the berm, which is what they call their curb. It's more of a curved curb instead of a straight down one. They dug out the berm and took pictures of it, which the first trial, when you first looked at the pictures of the berm, you thought that was where the body was, but that's not actually true. It's actually the curb, to give a point of reference of how far away from the curb the body was. So they at least tried to do point of reference. We'll give them that. So they're using the snowblower, which they took video of. If ever you want to have your soul crushed and you're just disappointment in all things, watch that video and be like, okay, you can clearly watch stuff get blown away. Everybody who's ever used a leaf blower, that precision blowing thing, that's not how leaf blowers work. I mean, maybe if you're an expert, you might be able to do it much better than me, but you still, that's not how leaf blowers work. So you watch them blowing through it, and underneath where they thought the body was, because we'll never really know exactly where it was, they found some glass. Because according to the story and the video, I'll give it to them. I can't really say. I don't really know how that works. But according to the story, John O'Keefe took a glass from the bar home with him. So while Karen Reed was driving the vehicle, he had an open container that he stole from the bar of some sort of drink. What drink it was, I don't care. It's just weird. But that glass was broken on the lawn around where his body was. Like, why is it broken there? I don't know. They say it was in his hand at the time. The problem I have with that is if it was in his hand at the time when all this shit hit the fan, that thing would have shattered and broke. You should have beads of glass in them. Like, it should have been everywhere. We all know what happens, to glass when it breaks. Like, it should have been in him. He should have glass cuts. And if he did have glass cuts, they wouldn't be uniform in the way that they were on his body. Like, it doesn't make sense with the injuries that he has. But you find this glass. So they've searched the area. They find this glass. That lead detective goes back to the precinct, and they decide that it's best that Canton PD recuse themselves because Brian Albert is a Boston police officer. They're in Canton, Massachusetts. And Canton is a suburb of Boston. And Brian Albert's brother is a Canton police officer. So we're like, hey, we should recuse ourselves because, conflict of interest. Clearly conflict of interest. Like, there's no way around this. Even if you don't have any, even if you say you would be able to do this without it, you need to just recuse yourself. Absolutely not. Like, you are far too connected for this to be a good idea. For the sake of the case, that's what you should be doing. Apparently, according to them, in Canton, Massachusetts, when you say you're conflicted out, that just means that you can't do interviews. That's what that means. I can't help but feel that's not really the case. But they're recused out. The stateys are going to do this thing. So at what point the state got brought in, very murky. Doesn't really make sense. That timeline I don't understand. But we'll let them have it. That whole thing sounds like a hot mess, but we're not going to deal with that right now. We don't have time for that shit. So stateys dig themselves out. Gosh. Michael Proctor and his supervisor. Michael Proctor's the lead detective. Bukaki? I don't remember. His supervisors also, they dug themselves out. They interview a couple people. They do not go to the scene of the accident. They do not go to the scene of the crime, accident, the death, whatever, that day. I don't remember at what point they do eventually go to the scene. It is a while. Days. It takes days for them to show up. But they interview 3 people, decide that Karen Reed is guilty, and that they're going to go get her, seize her car. They're going to go interview her and seize her car. They literally call because at this point, she went, shocker of all shockers, after she got out of the hospital because they put her on a psych hold. It's a whole other story. But after she does that, she doesn't feel like, as far as I can see from the testimony that's been given by the family, they were not very keen on her. Nobody has ever really said that they liked her. So, the family was not very helpful at that time. So she went to who she would be most, in this trying, emotionally, motion charged time, she went to her parents' house in Dighton, which I guess is 45 minutes away. So she picked up her own vehicle at John O'Keefe's house. They all went to her brother, her dad, and her went to her parents' house. So while the state police is driving to her house, they're already, when they're on the road, or even before they went on the road, they called Dighton to say, hey, we're going to be seizing this car. We need to know who you used to tow. We're already going to take this vehicle. They're already convinced with the witness testimony that she's guilty, and that's it. Never mind, everybody in that place was drunk that night. I don't know how you can, you don't have any solid evidence at this point that he was even hit by a vehicle, honestly, but whatever. That's my opinion. That's not from what I've seen. But whatever. They've already decided she's guilty. Let's seize this vehicle. Let's go there. Let's get this. So they go there. They interview her. Tow truck pulls up, gets the vehicle, comes back. According to the documents, what they say, when they say the vehicle was seized, They say it was seized at 5:30. It was actually in the Canton Police Station by 5:30, so that's not entirely true. Also, you have a conflicted out police station, but you still brought the vehicle back to stay at their police station, which is a hot mess. Look how far the puzzle's done. They go there, they take this vehicle. They do not take pictures of the vehicle when they seize it. Before they put it on the tow truck, after they take it off the tow truck, the cameras inside the Sally Port at the Canton Police Station where they stow this vehicle, the video doesn't turn up until during the first trial. They asked for it, didn't exist, couldn't find it, whatever. Didn't save it, didn't have it, whatever. Vehicle magically turns up during the first trial. The supervising detective gets on the stand like this is a clear, accurate representation of the thing. You can clearly see, because the defense is all like, you broke the taillight and you put the pieces there. Like, you can clearly see in this video, we didn't go anywhere near the taillight. And then lo and behold, the video is inverted. So when you think they're standing by the driver's side rear taillight, they're actually, which means they're nowhere near the passenger rear taillight. It's actually reversed. So they were actually standing near the passenger rear taillight the whole entire time. The angle of the camera makes it so you can't see. You're angled so it's looking at the car from the front driver's side, looking back. So the angle means that you can't see at all what they're standing at, what they're doing. So you don't know. You can't say one way or the other if you did or didn't, because you can't tell. You can't see it. Like, dude, one way or the other, they have another angle. The angle from the other way, the camera is missing 45 minutes at least. Because even the angle that they did get, that they said was a clear and accurate representation of what was going on, it's missing a whole bunch of time. Like, literally in the video, you can watch people jump, appear and disappear, move around. They keep doing stuff. There's no log of who walked around that vehicle, when, what they were doing, why they were there. There's nothing like that. You have no idea who any of those people are, what's going on. But when they say the vehicle got seized, turned out to be incorrect, because Karen Reed's father had a Ring camera or something. Different brand, same thing. So they actually have video showing when the vehicle was seized an hour before they said it was. And then they had the timestamps showing when it showed up at the Canton Police Station. This is important because the first piece of taillight turns up after the vehicle ends up in Canton. The Canton Police Station that the detective earlier in the day couldn't be bothered to go back to the police station to get things to help gather evidence. Instead, he had to just make do with what he had. He couldn't drive the mile back to the Canton Police Station. He needed to go get somebody else's random leaf blower. Makes perfect sense. But okay, sure. So, they had that amount of time to go sprinkle random taillight. But obviously, at this point, if half of the pieces of taillight don't even go to her vehicle, technically, you didn't have to wait to get that pieces from the car. You could have just dropped any pieces of taillight in there. Because it's so mixed up and turned in at random times, when the taillight gets turned in, finally, it's 3 different tays worth of taillight mixed together into one. So you don't know when each piece of taillight was found. So you don't know if the pieces they found that night are actually even from her vehicle. There's no way to know. They mixed them all together. It's a great time that way. But, obviously, when they went and searched the yard that night, the scene had been released for the whole entire time. They got the CERT team, which is the search and rescue team. If you get lost in the woods, those people, they came out to search the scene for evidence. Not crime scene techs. They didn't have any of those there. They didn't call any of them out to help make sure that all that evidence was gathered correctly. They couldn't be bothered. It wasn't important. They didn't think it was necessary. Why would we have them come out to legitimize what we're getting? We're just going to half-ass wing it. We're going to call in the CERT team and have them look for important evidence in this police officer's death from the crime scene that's been released this whole entire day. Anybody could have gone there. Anybody could have done anything. You know, all the people in the house could have done anything. Like, you just could have. Did I say they did? No. I'm just saying that the scene was open. You have no idea. Sure, it was snowing that day, but that doesn't mean nobody could have done anything. The whole thing is really wishy-washy. But this is the case where they're gonna charge her with murder and get her in trouble. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's a hot mess. There's so many loopholes. You know, the person that did the autopsy, they declared that the death undetermined. So even they couldn't sign off on it being a homicide. They could not figure it out. They did not know. The whole thing's a mess. The whole thing is a mess. The amount of evidence that's just like, are we doing this now? Like, what the hell is going on with this thing? In the last week of trial, this time around. So after the first trial was a mistrial, hung jury, whatever, they hired a special prosecutor. So they couldn't use one of the state prosecutors they already had. They hired to hire in somebody from outside, spend I don't know how much money. He came in, hired all new experts because we don't like the experts we already have. So you spent all the money for all these new experts to come in. And this week in trial, they had the guy come in to go through. So if you have an expert who's never seen a trial before, he'll come in, he'll give you his resume. You know, this is all the things I have. This is all the training I have. This is what makes me an expert that's to be believed. You know, this is what I know. I mean, obviously, you look at that and like, you've obviously been hired for this side, so I'm assuming you're going to give them evidence they like, but neither here nor there. So he comes in, gives his CV of all of his accreditation, whatnot, testifies. It comes down to the defense's side. And, you know, they start asking him questions about his CV because, lo and behold, like, I guess when you're an expert, originally you give them your CV, your resume in a piece of paper. Well, they also went to Aperture, which is the company that he works for. They went to their website and looked at it. And on their website, it's showing that he has an actual BA degree. Like, he has an actual degree. He graduated from college and, you know, all these things. But on his CV, it says that it says he's pursuing a degree. So when you look into it, he's been pursuing that degree for the last 17 years. He hasn't graduated, like, because originally I would assume with the CV he used to apply for his current job, it said he was pursuing a degree and was expecting to graduate in, you know, 2016, 2018 maybe. But then he just kept kicking the can down the road, like, oh no, I'll be graduating in this year, so on and so forth. Like, hey, what are we doing here? Like, so then you, on the Aperture website, it's saying, hey, he graduated in this time. Okay. And then it has a link to his LinkedIn profile. And on his LinkedIn profile, it's showing that he graduated as well. Like, in his LinkedIn profile, it's wrong. And he actually was on the stand saying, oh, if you go to my LinkedIn, you're not looking to see what education I have. You're looking to look at my picture or look at my post or whatever. I'm like, that's not what LinkedIn's for. You know, LinkedIn's for prospective employers, show off your accreditation, whatever it may be. Like, it's not so much that it's a problem if he doesn't have a college degree with, you know, a lot of times with tech stuff, it just depends on what you're doing. You can get away with not having a 4-year college degree. That's fine. It's the fact that you're lying about it on your resume that's being seen by the world. You know, your employer's website for you is also incorrect. which he, of course, blamed on his employer and not himself. Like, hey, your LinkedIn one, obviously, as you do different things and accomplish stuff, you can add it onto your resume. He added other things on after where it says that he has a college degree. So every time you go in there and look at that, you should be able to see, hey, you still have that. You should change your expected graduation date, push it out farther if you've been working on a degree for 17 years. So all he has for his degrees that he actually did graduate with is an associate's degree in general studies. Look, it's oodles of funnel. Like, that looks really, really bad. That looks really, really bad. And then you come in here, and then his testimony was all about how, I don't remember, he was doing tech. He was trying to figure out timestamps when things happen. So they're trying to prove that she hit him by backing up at a specific time, because they need to have it hit the window with the information that they have, but also have it so she can make it home in the time allotted. Originally, in the first case, in the opening statements, they say that she hit him at 12:45. And then during the trial, they found out that her phone hooked up to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at home at 1:36. As you can imagine, if you hit him at 12:45, you definitely can't have been home at 1:36. So then they automatically had to change when she hit him to match that in the mid-trial. Hot mess is my answer to this. Hot mess. Like, I'm going to need you to have figured this out well before this point. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. So, lo and behold, because expert testimony has been very far behind, the defense, no matter how much the state side wants to say it was late, they did on time. They turned in their rebuttal case against the Commonwealth, like, hey, this is where your information is wrong. So they turned it in saying, hey, his data is wrong. When they say he was struck with his vehicle, because as we all know, once he got struck, he went down, he never went back up again. He was down, he was done, he never got up again. After they say he was struck with the vehicle, he locked his phone. Like, kind of hard to lock your phone. The phone that was found underneath your body. It's kind of hard to lock your phone underneath your body when you're, dying. But, like, why would you? Whatever. So it was a time hold for their case. So this witness, you have rules of when you can turn things in, because the other side needs to make their case on the information you have, rebut your evidence, show that it's wrong, whatever. In the middle of trial, he turns in a new paper to say how, oh, hey, this is the actual time when he got hit. So it was, conveniently right before he, right after he locked his phone. So it's all good. The time matches up. It's fine. Like, hey, you can't just come up with new times. They're like, no, I didn't come up with anything new. It's just magic that I came up with this after the trial started to refute the evidence that you had. I used things that I had months ago. I just couldn't be bothered to do the math until after the trial started. I couldn't be bothered to do it until after. I didn't ask anybody if it was okay to work on something, that I would get paid for it and it would all be good. I just randomly did it on my own time. It's a hot mess. It's trial special. But as we can see, we're almost 2 hours in. We're whittling it down, slowly but surely. The OCD in me is like, hey, we're going to go down the line. As I babble on and on and on about a case. Do you care? Probably not. That's fine. But I like to watch it playing in the background while I'm working. Anytime there's anything exciting, something to distract me from the monotony of my job. But, where is the... Let's go this way. As we can see, to show you how far I need to go down in the puzzle. That's how far we need to go down. So what, are we halfway done? We'll say that. It's oodles of fun. It's that trial is more an exercise in, if the state chooses that you're the person, they will automatically believe anything any witness says that goes with their case. If any witness says something that doesn't work for their case, they're automatically not trustworthy and there's something wrong with their testimony. And we must prove that they're wrong, and we must prove that they're lying. That's clearly how they went with everything. I mean, you find a dead body on the lawn and you don't investigate the house at all. You take all the witnesses in the house, 100% truthful, no need to verify anything. If something ends up being, incorrect about their statements, then we will spend, I don't know how much time proving why there's nothing wrong with what they said. A great deal of the first trial was just proving how innocent and pure the people in the house were. Not how guilty she was of how saying, no, there's something wrong with the house. I mean, is it weird that you have a Boston police officer who's a first responder, trained in medical, whatever, never came out of the house? All those police cars showed up, fire trucks, whatnot. They say they didn't have the sirens on because it was early in the morning and they didn't want to wake people up. Fine. Don't care. But their house that he was, the room he was supposed to have been sleeping in, faces the road. Those flashing lights, you're not going to see it. Your German Shepherd, it's a German Shepherd, a reject police dog, is not going to flip out with all those lights on the lawn. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to appear at all. The German Shepherd that disappeared during the first trial and magically reappeared after it got sent to Vermont, which is the code, the universal code for every person. When you sent your dog to Vermont, that's what you tell your kids when the pet died. I just said. That's what you say when the pet died. It's not what you say when the pet's still alive. It's a hot mess. But state has unlimited funds, so they can spend as much money as they want on that case. Nobody can stop them. They're going to keep going. It must have been her. It couldn't have possibly been inside the house. Even when they do super weird shit that makes no sense, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Noodles and oodles of fun. If ever there was a clam up, this is why you should just say, no, I don't want to leave my house. I'm out. I would not be your designated driver. I mean, I guess her only crime was driving him to that place and letting him out. Taking him where he wanted to go and leaving. That was her crime. He's a grown-ass adult. Is it his fault? Apparently not. That and not being a perfect human. Ah, crap, I was looking for the wrong piece. No one is perfect. And there's nothing worse than if you get into trouble and somebody reads your text messages out of context. Like, this is showing how guilty they are. I'm like, oh, their texts are stupid. Whichever. Choose. Is Karen Reed a perfect human? Absolutely not. There's no such thing. That's fine. Just because she's not perfect doesn't mean she killed someone. Especially, one of the texts they had, because they did have a fight that day. It's in text. You can tell, they had an argument about stuff. Crap, where's that one at? Do I not have any more? Okay. In their fight that they had, she was eventually like, hey, if this relationship is over, let me know so that I can leave. Like, let's not drag this out. I will just leave. Just let me know. Are we done? If we're done, I'll go. Like, that's not really the, I'm angry at you, I'm going to do something. That's like, hey, just let me know. Like, their relationship was clearly circling the drain. That doesn't automatically mean murder. There's many people that successfully leave a relationship without killing each other. does happen from time to time. Man, it is not getting warmer outside. It's getting colder. This is ridiculous. I asked for warm weather. Heat. Really? Dread. I want to do that. The OCD me is like, I committed to go this way. There we go. Ha! To do it row by row. Getting stuck. Nope. There we go. Row by row. Line by line. Oh, sassafras. Lord. Will I get it done? I have an hour and 30 minutes. I feel like I can coast this one in and be done with it. Why are we causing each other such fits? What's wrong with this pace? I feel like I'm overthinking it. This one. Oh, it's a head. That might be where the problem lies. That's not what I was thinking it was going to be. Still not right. Keep on keeping on. Stop staring at that one piece. Move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. I feel like it's getting colder in here. I'm just keeping it real. We'll see if my fingers change color over time. Man, I'm cold-blooded. I can't help it. Let's do the Shibu Inu. Oh my gosh. That is right? You know what? I took 2 years of Japanese in college. You think I'd be able to pronounce that correctly? I mean, I can't speak Japanese, obviously. No. Why would I be able to speak the language I learned in college? That's just ridiculous. But I just, man, we will persevere. Boy. I just realized that my pieces are on the bottom, are out of the shot. Whatever. Too late now, suckers. Trying to resist the urge to reset them because they're all messy. It's all messy. I don't like it when they're messy. Okay, let's see if we can't get this piece again. Because it should exist. This should not be so hard. I'm just saying. It should not be this hard. Unless I dropped it on the floor and didn't realize I dropped it. I mean, I don't have complete faith in my ability. But no, I can find it. And it would be so funny if I have just this new one that I just opened be missing a piece. And not so much for the person that bought it for me. Be like, what the hell? I paid for this thing and it's missing a piece? And depending on what brand it is, whatever, sometimes you can, send them a letter and like, hey, I'm missing a piece, whatever, and they will send you a new one. I doubt it's going to be for this brand of puzzle, but it does happen from time to time. So if you're doing a puzzle and you run into this problem, just check, see if it has, look, it's the, before I was like, hey, look, there's the service dog thingy. Like, that will come up later. Send him a message. Bitch about it. Me, I generally would be like, I'm going to lose a piece anyways. It's not the end of the world. But I guess it would depend how much the puzzle cost, you know, if I paid for it myself, especially if it was a big one, like the amount of time and effort you put into, how do I not have this piece? Put into putting it together, to only have it not having one of the pieces, I would be slightly annoyed. At first, I would have to figure out if I actually lost the piece or if it's just out and about, because pieces run away. So, I wouldn't be surprised the flower puzzle I put together yesterday, even though I did check, I looked to see if it was on the floor anywhere, I didn't find it. If a piece just randomly turned up, because usually how that works is they ran away to a location that you cannot find, even though you've checked all the floor, everything, it's not dirty, like I don't understand. And then a couple days it'll just magically appear. Like somehow you stepped on it, tracked it somewhere, and lost it, and didn't realize that you had it stuck on the bottom of your foot or something. I don't know how that can happen, because you should be able to feel it. I don't know how it travels. I know that they can, and they do. It is a skill that puzzle pieces have. I mean, it makes it sound like my place is super messy or something. It's not messy. It's just, that's what puzzle pieces do. They run away. They're very good at it. What is wrong with this thing? Did I miss? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because now I have the second one that is from the same section. It's like I don't know. This is this one. Got it. Got it. I don't know if we just need to check everything and act like I can't tell what it is. I wonder if I'm overthinking it. I wonder if I'm filling in the empty space with what I think it should be. And then because of that, I'm not seeing the piece of, no, still don't have it. I don't know. Who am I? Oh. As I'm like, I need to restructure it. It's driving me nuts. As we reset it, we all knew it was going to happen eventually. Reset and squish it together. It's the OCD in me. The amount of extra time, they're like, I'm just going to reset the pieces again. Is it helpful? Not really. I mean, a little bit. No. Could have just done it the other way and been done fine with it, but what's this? Ha! Aren't we excited? Makes me feel nice. Okay. I saw this piece somewhere. Nailed it. Is that why this is not going in there? Because it doesn't go here? Oh, wait. Watch this. Why doesn't it fit there? Well, kids, that's because that's not the piece that's supposed to go there. That's why. Well, mystery solved, kids. Mystery solved. So proud of you. So proud of you. Also, hang head and shame. Both. Both. Well, I just, that's why you leaving. Come back later. That way you could see, what did you mess up? What did you put in the wrong spot? What did you do wrong? It's not if you did something wrong. It's what did you do wrong? I just, skills. Skills. There we go. And then moving on, moving on. I just. Stuck in a piece again. Driving me nuts. Okay. Oh, sassafras ruined my perfectly organized structure. It doesn't make a huge difference. Not really, no. I mean, personal preference, all personal preference. Do I recommend doing it this way? I mean, no, not really. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Put it together the way you want to put it together, as long as it ends up. Whenever I used to train people to the job I had before, I'm like, these are the steps you have to take. How you get from point A to point B, I don't care. I don't want to know. You do you. As long as you do the required steps, I don't care how you get there. That's more of a personal preference. I mean, sure, maybe if it takes you 4 billion years to get it done, I might be a little bit annoyed. But besides that, I don't want to know. I don't care. It's not. That's not important. Doesn't matter. What is wrong? This one goes here. What is this one? Put there. Just as I fight the pieces, where does this one go? I don't know. Don't ask me these questions. Why would I know the answer? Why is it so cold out? It's supposed to be 70 today. Darn it. Where is the heat? Where is the sun? Where is the sun gone? Dang it. Although I feel like it was supposed to have rained early today. It better not have rained in my bedroom and me not know because I didn't notice. Well, it wasn't raining hard. How much could it have possibly rained? I don't want the damp cold. I want the warmth of the sun. I don't actually want to be in the sun though. My pasty white skin hates sun, so that's not it. I don't want to actually be in the sun. I want the warmth of the sun. I mean, if I can get the warmth of the sun without actually getting the sun damage and whatnot, that'd be great too. But that's not something we can actually do. So even with sunscreen, that's not really how that works. But okay, so I'm gonna need this one, and then we can move on to the next row. Ta-da! What's up? We can make it. Will I make it in 3 hours and 30 minutes? Yes. Yes. I could go take a nap and come back and finish it in 3 hours and 30 minutes. I'm just saying. That's a little bit overconfident, but still, it works. It works. Go this way. This must go in here somehow. This way? No? Sassafras. This one. No. What? No, this way. There we go. There we go. The fluffy fuzzy dog. What breed is it? I don't know. God knows. That one I can't Google. Because if I don't know what it's supposed to be called or even close, I don't know how you're supposed to Google it. I mean, I guess you could do Google Lens. Although I've never done that on my phone. But I imagine it has to be on there. Just so it's on everywhere else. Where you can highlight the picture and bring it up and it'll tell you what it is. It actually comes in handy if you get a random picture of something you don't understand. You can highlight it. That's of course assuming it gives you the correct answer, because sometimes it won't give you the correct answer and then you're SOL. If you go down that path and it gave you the wrong answer to start with, I don't know what you're supposed to do then. But, this one. As we get down towards the bottom, I've gotten more pieces that I organized incorrectly. That's my bad. This one. Ha! Not. Go the other way. Little toy dog. What kind of toy dog is it? I don't know. It's this one. Oh. That one. Great. Definitely. We can make it. There's this one. That's not right. Like I still tried it because I don't think that's right. This way. I still should be able to get that one in there. I don't know why I'm not finding it. It's running up the wall. Okay. It's fun to get the distinctive pieces. You're like, well, this one should be so easy to spot. It's got some distinctive color on it, something, some action in it that you can like, hey, this should be. I'll grab this one and move on to the next one. Easy peasy, and then you just can't find it. It's so hard to let it go and keep going because you're like, it has to be there. You should definitely be able to find it, and you just can't. For whatever reason, it's just eluding you. You just need to keep going. Come back later, when you have less pieces to look through, and then it'll eventually turn up because clearly all the other ones have as well. I don't know why, but sometimes, nope, not even remotely close. Get off. It'll just, there we go, elude you for whatever reason. But here's the sad doggy. It should be another dog's face on this side. Honestly. Why is it so difficult? It's like amusing you have the same type piece on both sides so you can't find. There's that one. I don't remember if I went this way or the other way last time, but we'll try it again. Try every single piece. Not just the ones it thinks it looks like, all of them. It must exist. Ish. This one. There we go. Whittling it down. Slowly but surely. Adjust. Every time you're like, I don't understand. Why isn't it going in? We got 4 rows left. 4. While I freeze. And could I close the window? Well, you know, I probably could. This is entirely true. Am I going to? Probably not. At this point, I'm like, I can finish this thing. I'm going to finish it, and then I'll close the window. Put on 16 layers, bundle up, and get warm again. Oh, that's not where that goes. Put it over one too far. Like, that's not quite it, kiddo. Not quite it. Move it a little bit to the side. And then again, kind of weird. I'm having trouble with the heads. I don't know if it's just because I'm assuming what the head will look like and then I'm just not finding it, or what's wrong with that one, but I'm just not. I don't know. Epic fail. Epic fail. I'm just not getting the what I would consider to be the easy pieces. Look, it's another one's not separating correctly. I'm shocked. Really now. That's sarcasm, just in case nobody could notice. I can't. That should be this one. Like, why am I not finding the tail? Drive me up the flipping wall. Well, that's the wrong way. There we go. It's a sad time when you do it the other way and it's better than holding it in your hand. Like, how did we miss that before? I don't know. It's not the head. No, that is not right. It's not right at all. Nice try. Nice try. Stuck again. Here we go. There we go. Can we make it to where I got stuck last time? I highly flippin' doubt it. Highly flippin' doubt it. When does the pool open? I assume the pool opened on, they put in the announcement, like, they started letting you have keys on Saturday, but I was too lazy to go over and get it on Saturday, and then I was gone for the rest of the week, obviously. As you were well aware, I was gone for the rest of the week. So I can assume I can go get it anytime. They changed it now, so I guess it's, like you'll get a fob that you have to unlock the door with. Although I wonder how that works. Because obviously you would close it at some point, so it's not going to be open all the time. Whatever. I don't ask these questions. So I got to turn in my original key fob and get a different one that'll open the door. That's when the pool is open. Which I don't know how long you commented on that. There's no time on these things. No, you won't. No, won't. I don't know. I don't know what point you said no, you won't. So I don't know what that is in response to. And this is me paying attention, going on and on. You know what? You think it would flash or something and tell me my answer? What I was talking about when you gave me that message. I happen and scroll. Why is such a pain in my side? This one should be fairly easy. How do I not have this one? What the front is Mana? It's fighting me hard. Like I thought you'd be notified. Well, technically, if I look up at the screen and see it, I'll notice. But I could swear I have been checking. Did I pull that out to try to find the piece and then I couldn't remember it? I took it out. That's true. I'm gonna go with that one. I definitely did. Like the puzzle I did yesterday, the amount of times I took the piece out, forgot that I'd taken it out, where I took it out from, and I couldn't figure it out. Like the one time I actually rewound the video so I could see where it came from to put it back in again, because I just could not remember where I got it. Worried for me and my time. I've got an hour left to finish this thing. I got an hour. Oh, I am getting a little bit stuck. No, I want to do it row by row. You know what? The OCD in me was like, no. I said I was going to do it row by row. I need to do it row by row. I can't do it. I can't start on the bottom and go that way. No. That'd be cheating. I think this falls under the same category. Usually when I do puzzles, I look at the picture once, and then that's it. I don't get to look at it anymore. So one and done, and then you'll go through. I keep wanting that to be it, but that's not it. And just do it from memory. Honestly, because it just depends on what it is. Like, obviously, yesterday, the puzzle I did, it did come in handy to look at it, because I'd put part of the puzzle together, but not known where it went on the board. And I was able to use the picture to put it where it was supposed to be on the board, and then realize that I actually had that spot open. And then I could just set it in and connect it. Like, it was that. That doesn't work. I just generally don't. This way. This one. Let the hour. I will finish it in an hour. I just wanted to go it row by row. I almost started to do the bottom. I was like, no, we were going to do top to bottom. That's how this works. It's not going to make that huge of a difference. Because inevitably, with these puzzles, the more pieces you put in, the less you have. The less options you have, the faster it should, in theory, be to put it together. In theory. I have to put that little caveat on there, because it all depends on how well you do it. How much of a hot mess the puzzle is that you're trying to put together. This one has too much distinctive features. I don't think it would make that huge of a difference to have it mixed. Making fun of me. I just stand some breath. There we go. Which I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot and say, see how well this is going in? Kiss of death, kids. Kiss of death. Usually that means the next piece I try to find, it won't exist. But let's say it anyways. Hurry up. How fast can I go? Honestly. You just want to watch your race. I'll be done soon. You can start to race in the beginning and then fast forward through every time they have the slow parts. I mean, what race is playing? I don't know, honestly. It's stuck again. Honestly, there we go. 10 dogs to go. I don't know how many. I mean, I assume the title is correct, and there really are 101 dogs pooping. But should I stop and count how many dogs I've done? That'll drag out the time. Sassafras. Here we go. Stuck clear again. There it is. Sassafras and Grenat. Go this way. Come back for that in a little bit. Maybe it'll magically appear. This piece. I don't know why it's this one. There we go. Whittling away. That one. I don't know why I can't find that one. Whatever. Move it on. Move it on. Great. Googly moogly. What is wrong with this thing? That's this one. That one. That one. Nope. Not even remotely close. This one. There. 2 hours, 46 minutes, 54 seconds. Huzzah. Dogs pooping. It's a masterpiece. Masterpiece. All pieces found. Here we go. Easy peasy, lemon breezy. Here's a 500 piece puzzle for you. Oodles of fun. Ridiculous. If you want to look at dogs pooping. And yes, there is shit on this thing. Are there piles underneath the dog or like falling from it in different forms? Yes. Now that you have the bigger picture, different consistencies, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Well done. Thanks for watching this wonderful puzzle. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Kimberly's going to go watch a race of some sort because it's Memorial Day weekend, so there's a race. I mean, sure there is. Or whatever else festivities, whatnot you're doing. If you're lucky enough to have Monday off, well done. Congratulations. Have fun. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Suggestions on what I should do next, feel free to comment down below. Thanks and goodbye.